Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is your host Ben on the Lover of Tech channel. Now, the Made by Google event was rounded up as of last week, 4th of October, and there was a slew of hardware products that were announced by Google after many leaks and anticipation. And in this particular video, I wanted to share my impressions and a recap of the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. As you know, two handsets were announced, the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL, and we'll start with the Pixel 2. The Pixel 2 is a 5-inch display phone with all the things that were anticipated to actually see in terms of release. We've got a 5-inch corner-to-corner display with a traditional 16:9 aspect ratio with two front-facing speakers, the usual specifications of a modern-day Android flagship internally with the Snapdragon 835, 4 gigs of RAM, 2700 mAh battery, and all other little things that were added as well in terms of what we were anticipating when they were released. There's 3 different colors that were actually announced with it, which is kind of blue, just black, or clearly white. So those are the 3 color availabilities that were on there as well. And overall, with the Pixel 2, even getting into it, these phones are definitely going to be a hit. With the Pixel 2 against what the Pixel 2 XL actually was, if you look at the Pixel 2 XL, that is actually sporting a much more modern day flagship design, especially when it comes to the display layout with a 6-inch 18:9 aspect ratio, 2880 by 1440 quad high definition plus display, and this is actually using the POLED display technology, and this is most likely the same display technology, although it's not been confirmed, that you're gonna find in the upcoming V30 from LG. Although the V30 from LG was announced earlier at the end of August, this is pretty much the same display technology that is in the V30 that's in the Pixel 2 XL. Now, looking at both these phones, my initial reaction is I'm a lot more excited for the Pixel 2 XL, and it's just mainly based on just once you've been spoiled by the bezel-less display technology that you're going to find on all the modern day flagships that have come out this year from LG, Xiaomi, Samsung, and even the upcoming iPhone 10. It's just naturally something I will gravitate to a lot more. But overall, what you're actually going to be getting in terms of experience is a similar experience between the camera, the internal specifications, and obviously being a Pixel device by Google, the latest version of Android 8.0, which is Oreo. New features were also added to both these phones, especially the addition of water and dust resistance. There's now finally an official IP ingress protection rating of IP67, which, as we all know by now, is 1 meter of clean water for 30 minutes in terms of depth, which is finally something that was added before. The previous Pixel from last year only had some form of IP53 splash resistance, so it's great to finally see such a flagship feature that's been added into there as well. Now, the always on display feature has now been added to these phones, seeing as both these phones are using some form of an OLED technology, with the 6-inch using a POLED display as well as the 5-inch using an AMOLED display. It's great to see an always on display technology software feature being added, which is going to be really good for quick software navigations. There is also the addition of the Active Edge squeeze technology on both these phones, very similar to what HTC did on their U11 flagship phones, where you're able to squeeze the edge to activate different functions. But this particular time, they've kind of done a Samsung with Bixby, where it's only locked to the Google Assistant. So it's going to be very interesting to see how people respond to it. I remember when I first used this feature on the U11, although I've not reviewed the phone, I really found it intuitive, and it was one of the features that I loved a lot. Some people saw it as a gimmick, but I actually saw it as a very intuitive and a natural way to actually activate any particular thing that you wanted to, but this time it is locked to the Google Assistant. So again, we'll see how people respond to that. And the thing most people are excited for is the new cameras and how the cameras perform. What you do have is a new 12.2 megapixel rear facing camera, which is actually completely identical on both the Pixel 2 and the Pixel XL2, and a new front facing 8 megapixel camera as well, which is completely identical on both handsets as well. So you're going to get the same camera experience. But what's actually different with these new phones is the rear facing camera has an f1.8 aperture, a pixel micron size of 1.4 microns, which is going to be really good and helpful low light, and the addition of optical image stabilization, which was something that wasn't there last year in the previous Pixel model, but actually didn't hurt it that much, because as most of us thought, especially when it came to video stabilization, Google's AI and software implementation, as well as their image processing, made image stabilization without OIS such a clutch feature, which was actually kind of scary how they were able to do that. But what they're actually saying this year is it's called fuse stabilization, where the OIS is working in conjunction with the electronic image stabilization to give you even smoother video stabilization altogether. But actually the main benefit that I'm seeing that's going to be really beneficial alongside the f1.8 aperture is definitely low light performance, because being able to have optical image stabilization is going to really help with long exposure period of time when you actually need to capture more light, which is really great to see. That is definitely something I cannot wait to get my hands on. But the freakiest thing that they were actually talking about was everything working in tandem with each other. Everything is all based around software, hardware, AI, which is artificial intelligence, working together to give you the best camera experience, the best user experience on these new Pixel phones. And they're actually doing this with their new portrait mode for the rear and the front facing camera. And with all the samples that I've seen, it is absolutely witchcraft. I'm telling you, witchcraft. Like, it's almost magic just by the initial impressions that I've seen with what this camera can do with background bokeh depth of field with just one camera lens. Like, whatever Google is doing in the background to be able to get the edge detection done properly is absolutely phenomenal. And I definitely cannot wait to get these phones to be able to see how the camera performs against all the dual camera lenses that have come out from all the different manufacturers this year. So the Pixel 2 starts at $649 in terms of dollars for the 64GB model. You also have a 128 model as well, and the Pixel 2 XL starts at $849 for the 64GB model, and these are priced accordingly. And actually the Pixel 2 in terms of pricing is not bad. I personally felt like the pricing was actually done quite well for that particular handset. So I think more people might gravitate to that in terms of pricing. But my overall conclusion is this is not by any means a full comprehensive breakdown. I think most of you have seen great videos from other tech YouTubers that give you a full breakdown on what these phones are about. And definitely once I do get one of these phones or both these phones in studio, I'm going to be giving it a full Lover of Tech full review breakdown so you guys can see exactly how these phones perform and whether they're worth purchasing with your own hard-earned money. But my overall conclusion is this: Google made the statement that pick whichever size you like, there won't be a compromising experience in any way. And for the fundamental reason of that, it's true to a certain extent, but I'll say take it with a grain of salt with a certain thing. And my reason is this: there's three basic fundamentals to a phone when you're using it, which is you hold the phone so you actually feel the design, which is something that is natural. You have to hold the phone to use it. You look at the display, as well as you interact with the software and all the additional features that you get. That's just the basic three fundamentals to a phone. But actually for me, the main problem that I have is not just the removal of the headphone port, it's just the fact that the display technology, although similar, are very different, especially with the 18:9 aspect ratio that you find on the Pixel 2 XL. That's the main reason why I'm more excited for that. I just don't like the fact that they didn't actually go for a more bezel-less design on a 5-inch model, because those chin bezels, although the front-facing speakers look absolutely are clutch. I love the fact the front-facing speakers are back, and it's really great to see them pushing it, but they were able to do that on the Pixel 2 XL. Why not just do the same for the normal Pixel 2, for it to have an 18:9 aspect ratio? Even if you're not going to give it a quad high definition plus display, give it a full high definition plus display, but give it an 18:9 aspect ratio. And that's just something that, having that form of segmentation, I just wasn't feeling so much. But nonetheless, the experience on these phones is definitely going to be something that people are eagerly waiting for, even myself. And then last but not least, the removal of the headphone port. And I think all of us need to accept the fact that wireless is something that is coming to mobile phones. You know, using my iPhone 8 Plus, definitely as a power user, being able to listen to music or listen to your phone calls while charging is an imperative thing, and you kind of have to go wireless. It's almost a necessity. And they did create their Pixel Buds, which I'm not going to get into too much on this video. I might do in a separate video if you guys want, of all the other products that were announced as well. But the removal of the headphone port, and also finding out that there won't be any direct USB Type-C earbuds in there to be able to use, it just makes it a very big missed opportunity. So already having to use the adapter, it's not that easy for people to actually get straight into USB Type-C. So it almost shows that where is the direction with USB Type-C audio? Now, obviously what they're counting on is people having their own earbuds to be able to use already. But I actually feel like Google doing this, they've not necessarily handled it too well, because now it's almost empowered Apple in what they've done, because at least with Apple, they've given you an adapter in there that's actually a lot cheaper to buy if you lose it, compared to $20 from the USB Type-C adapter that's on the Pixel 2. And also they give you Lightning earbuds as well, so you can actually use the Lightning earbuds to listen to music. I mean, without rambling on too much, I just think the whole omission of the headphone jack is just something that I don't feel is necessary. But at the end of the day, it was the same as what happened with the MacBook Air when it came out. The removal of the CD drive was just inevitable, and I think the headphone jack getting that same treatment is a shame. It's something that we have to come around to. But it's just funny how Google had a different approach last year with them keeping the headphone jack, and this year removing it. But in the keynote, didn't really take much time to explain why they did it. It almost seems like they just skipped over it. Overall, this is just my opinion. I'm more excited for the Pixel 2 XL, especially for the display segment and also the longer battery life, because you've got 3,520 milliamps on there. You do have fast charging enabled on both phones. There is no wireless charging as well, which I think in terms of where the wireless future is going is a missed opportunity for Google, and also doing further investigation as well. There is no digital to analog converter. There's no DAC that's inbuilt from what I found out, which is going to be very interesting to see how the real audio internal experience is going to be for these phones when they're released. All of this just has to be tested. I'm definitely eager. I think I'm more likely going to go for the Pixel 2 XL, because that will give you a much better experience when it comes to Google's Daydream VR because of the higher pixel count. So many more things in that respect. But again, when we do get it into studio, hopefully I'll be sure to put it through all its paces so you guys get a full out view of how these phones perform. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, that's my opinion and my roundup of the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL. If there's any particular thing that you disagree about, definitely hit me up in the comment section below. Let's have a constructive discussion. As always, if there's any particular thing I've missed, let's also have a discussion in the comment section below. Make sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you're part of the notification squad so you can see all the latest content that is posted on the Lover of Tech channel. Again, I'm your host Ben on the Lover of Tech channel, signing out. I'll see you next time.